All right, to our feature story tonight. And Loren O'Keeffe dedicated 5 years of her life trying to find her missing brother. But 6 weeks ago, Daniel's body was discovered under the family home. I sat down with her to find out how the family is now coping. When Daniel O'Keeffe went missing in 2011, his family was convinced they'd find him someday.
Ideally, I want to find Dan myself. I would just tell him that I love him.
But they never thought it would be like this.
Police have surrounded the O'Keeffe family home at Highton after the discovery of human bones.
I'd thought about a lot of different scenarios over the years, but getting that call from Dad to say that he had found Dan and where he had found Dan was just unbelievable.
In March, the 24-year-old's body was found by his dad, Des, in a cavity beneath the family home. It was a huge blow for the O'Keeffes, who had held on to hope that Dan was still out there, somewhere alive. How did it come about that your dad did find him?
All I know is that he was cleaning out an unused storage area. And he got to the end of this area, this space underneath the house, and then he saw a very tight corridor that led to a very remote area. It was very dark, and I mean, I respect that Dad doesn't want to elaborate on those details, and I don't really want to know the specifics.
And for a parent to have to find their child.
It never should have happened like that.
When Dan first disappeared, police searched the area around the home, but they never looked under the house. So the family didn't get closure for 5 more years. Can you talk to me a bit about police, what they said on the day publicly and what actually went on behind closed doors?
That day, the police told the media that they had conducted an extensive search. We just want to clarify that they actually never searched the house. They never went beyond the lounge room. They never searched Dan's bedroom. They never went through his computer. So although Dan was known to be struggling with a mental illness, it wasn't quite, I guess, important enough for that to make him a priority for search.
Loren quit her job when Dan disappeared, and for the last 5 years she spent every waking moment looking for her little brother. Dan had been sighted over the years. How do you feel now about those times when, you guys had that hope?
Not everything in life happens for a reason, but that sighting, that reported sighting, did. I needed that injection of adrenaline and hope.
But the reported sighting came to nothing. Dan had been seeing a psychologist and was taking antidepressants before he disappeared. But in his final days, when he went to stay at his parents', he'd left his medication at home.
We're still waiting for the report from the coroner, but we now know that Dan did decide to end his suffering that day.
So how does it change your grief now?
There's relief in that I know that he's not out in the cold and rain, but the cost of that relief has been the total destruction of a hope, that had just grown over 5 years.
Almost 100 people go missing in Australia each day, and at least 12 of their loved ones are directly affected. In 2013, Loren began the Missing Persons Advocacy Network to help give practical support to those families. So what are you going to do with the organisation going forward?
Everyone who knew Dan will have their own beautiful memories of him, but we really, the most important thing that's come out of this is MPAN, and that's his legacy. So this work that we do has never been more important to me.
How will you remember Dan?
Dan was always really special because he was the baby. He was the baby boy. He and I were a team, and then the 2 older sisters were a team, and so I kind of feel like I've lost my sidekick. But it's weird because, I've felt that loss for 5 years. It's just now it's a bit more real and it's permanent.
The dedication Lauren's shown for 5 years to her brother. I mean, it's such a tragic end when there was just so much hope for so long, you know, and I think...
Did you get the sense that closure is such a difficult word to use in these situations, but some certainty that now
I
they know?
asked her about closure and said, I hate that word. And she said, I hate it too, because it does not at all sum up how you feel. You know, she said it's just a whole different sort of grief now. And I think that the foundation she set up is a great legacy, because it's practical support, the support she found that she didn't have when he went missing. How to close bank accounts, simple things that you need to do when someone goes missing. And, you know, if you are concerned about a loved one and you need that support, please visit the Missing Persons Advocacy Network.
And if you or anyone you know needs help, crisis support is available through Lifeline. The number is 13 11 14.